In this age of new normal, online is not your only option. Because new normal means new learning modalities and new learning possibilities. Let Vibal make learning offline possible with Smart Class. Smart Class contains pre-made daily modules sequenced according to DepEd's budgeted teaching and learning calendar. Each module has a specific lesson duration and has day markers to guide parents and teachers in the asynchronous learning of learners. Inside the modules available in Smart Class, you will find the following elements. First, learning competencies are identified in the module openers. Kickstarters are available to test students' prior knowledge on the subject matter. This set of activities, found at the beginning of each lesson, may also serve as motivational activities. Parents of preschool to grade 2 students will also find notes to parents which contain tips and pointers on how they can guide their child while learning at home. Redefine your students' learning experience with the integration of augmented reality technology into images and illustrations available in Smart Class, making learning more interactive and exciting. At the end of each module, Long Quiz is also available to assess students' understanding of the lesson. Smart Class also features Wrap Up, a lesson ender activity that applies the constructivism theory of learning. In Wrap Up, students are expected to summarize the lesson on their own using a graphic organizer. You may also evaluate the quality of your students' learning by letting them practice their learning in real life through GRASP's formatted performance tasks. The content of Smart Class is designed for the entire academic year, and it is available for 5 major subjects. All aligned with DepEd's K-12 curriculum and covers the most essential learning competencies prescribed by DepEd. Secure your own copy of Smart Class before classes open. Contact marketing@vibalgroup.com to know more.
Good day, Kavibal, and welcome to our school opening webinar series. For the discussion today, the topic will be on emotive and inspiring methods for orientation of parents and students. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. Make sure you are registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.vibalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Place your questions on the comment box allotted during the session and they will be addressed by our speaker later on. Share the video using hashtag LearnAs1PH as our official hashtag to our Vibal webinars. Experience learning, Kavibal. And now, to proceed with our webinar this afternoon, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker today. Our speaker is a SPED teacher and advocate for 20 years. She finished psychology degree from the Philippine Normal University. Obtained postgraduate course in Masters in Arts, major in Special Education from the De La Salle University, Manila. She obtained her second postgraduate course in Masters in Education, major in School Administration from RTSI MI. She completed her doctorate degree in education from the RTSIMI. She is currently the school principal of a progressive education preschool, Kids SCOCO in Ortigas. She is the executive director of Acadev Training and Learning Center in Quezon City. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Teacher Margot Palencia.
Hi, thank you so much for the introduction. And welcome again to our webinar series. And thank you again, Kabibal, for having me and inviting me over. Thank you, Miss Jillian. So I hope that everybody is having a relaxed environment, comfortable. Hello mga ka-teach, hello mga ka-Vibal. Sana po ay maayos ang inyong upuan, meron kayong uh, pen and paper so that you could write down some of the points that I'm going to discuss with you today. So today's topic, I was asked to discuss and share with you emotive and inspiring methods for orientation of parents and students. I believe that this is timely because we're supposed to open the school year this coming 24th, but it was moved on October 5. But still, there are a lot of schools which started already first week of August. So sa mga nagsimula na po, okay lang, tuloy. Sa mga hindi pa, I hope that you can get something from this. So from the word itself, now let me just give you what is this all about. So emotive means how are we going to motivate or arouse the parents, especially in time of orientation. For the longest time, I was also with Vibal 2 months ago, and we were discussing how are we going to involve the parents in terms of this new modality of learning, in terms of this new reality in terms of learning, because this is very new to us. As I've said all the time when I give webinars like this, what is happening now is new for everybody. Nobody has experienced this before. Nobody has perfected this before. So I think the collaboration of parents, the teachers, and the students are very important. There are different challenges that we are experiencing, of course, along the way, especially when it comes to apprehensions of the parents, apprehensions of the students. We have so many questions. So we will try to address that today, little by little, and we're going to give you some practical tips on how are we going to orient. At the same time, I think it doesn't only stop on the orientation per se. Orientation is a very important thing, but at the same time, it's also important that the parents should know what is going to happen for the rest of the school year, because I think the safest way to do it now for our kids, because we always have this uncertainty when it comes to health issues. I think what is most important is the safety of everybody, the parents, we teachers, and most especially our students. So I will be your presenter for today. Once again, I'm teacher Margot Palencha. So let's just give you a very brief background of myself for those who maybe came in just now. So I'm in the field of education for 20 years. I've been a school principal for a decade now. And as an educator, I believe in the works of John Dewey, who's a progressivist, Eric Erickson, and Lev Vygotsky. So this is how I practice my principles in education. I follow their works. I'm an advocate of inclusive education for differently abled students. As Ms. Jillian said a while ago, I'm a SPED teacher. On the lighter note, I love dogs, and I love 80s music, and I like binge watching if my time permits, and my FB page is at Teacher Margot. So let's start. The objectives of this webinar, of course, every webinar, every lesson should always have an objective, so that we could always evaluate by the end of the webinar if we were able to um, deliver what we promise you from the beginning. Okay, so this webinar aims to present a practical instruction in motivating parents. I think that is very important in this time, how to motivate the parents, because we know that the children will actually um, spend their time at home. They will do their lessons at home. So we really need the collaboration and the cooperation of parents. So if the parents are not motivated, and how are they going to motivate the students or their children? And as we all know, parents know their children more than we know them. So if we could really engage them, if we could really motivate the parents, and where would this motivation happens or begin? It will always begin from the orientation. That's why I've been seeing a lot of um, ads or infographics in Facebook saying how do they do it, if if we will go back 2 to 3 months ago, we were all talking about what's blended learning, what's asynchronous learning, what is asynchronous learning, because we really wanted the parents to have an idea of or a clear expectation of what is going to happen for the rest of the school year. So we aim today to motivate more the parents, and most especially the students. Um, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we are motivating and we are encouraging parents because they are the ones who's going to enroll. They are the ones who are going to support the students when it comes to the technology that they need, because now technology is very vital in this kind of modality of learning. So we need to encourage the parents, and they will support, they will give everything that the children need or the students need in order to perform these online classes. That's why we've been seeing posts that these parents are um, taking pictures of the learning stations of their students, or the learning corners, or the study table with computer, so on and so forth, as they move on to the opening of classes, uh, which is a very good sign, which means that the students, or the parents, literally understand what we are going to do. But of course, it's a different thing when we start the school year. So as we start the academic school year using a new modality in learning, which is distant learning or online learning, is our new normal. So this webinar also intends to present the idea of social emotional learning as an additional way of approach in the orientation and involvement of the parents and students. As an educator, mga ka-teach, mga kabibal, I always believe that everything that we do in education should have an educational framework, and there should always be an educational background wherein there are theories that supports the things that we do. Theories, of course, are product of researches, and these are just a way of explaining why things are happening. And when we speak from the title, or from the title of this webinar, emotive and inspiring, we, from that topic itself, or from that title itself, we don't really see the aspect of cognition. So this afternoon, I'm going to talk about more on the social emotional aspect of parents and students who are going to experience this new learning as we start the academic school year. I think it's good that those schools, it's really favorable for the schools who are not yet finished. Because I think the concerns now are, how are we going to upload all these lesson videos? We already know. I think there is a very aggressive orientation to our teachers on how to make these modules, how to make these lesson videos. That's why everybody's so busy doing this. But the next concern, or the next thing that we really have to look into, is when we transfer this to the parents and to the students, how are they going to maximize it? According to the research, according to some researches, by the way, I would like to shout out my research team. I would like to say thank you, of course, because what I'm going to present to you today are, mini researches of uh, things that we ask from parents, we research from scholastic journals. I would like to say thank you to my team, to teacher Andrea Sabandal and teacher Daisy Francisco, for always helping me find the material so that I could present to you in a, research grounded webinar. Okay, so for today, I intend to present to you also the social emotional learning theory, wherein we have to know also that if, as we experience emotional stress as teachers because of this, so many things that we are doing, the parents and the students are also experiencing social emotional concerns. So we're going to talk about that today. All right. So I am really, um, I will really do my best to give you all these objectives by the end of this 1 hour talk. Okay, so what is social emotional learning? We always hear of the term emotional intelligence, emotional quotient. We even say that emotional quotient is very important, and it is somehow as important with cognitive or intellectual quotient. And we keep on saying that people who has high emotional quotient, or their emotional intelligence or high, then they will be able to uh, push through with whatever they are doing in spite of the obstacles that they are experiencing. Sabi, 'di ba, in Filipino, sabi natin yung mga tao na magaganda yung kanilang disposition sa buhay, they are the ones who can really pull off anything that you can present to them. And I would like to look at look at this detail of uh, what can social emotional learning do for our student. Motivation and inspiring or inspiration is part of social emotional learning. It is more of the social skills and the emotional skills, which is one thing that we are not, very capable of giving it to the students and the parents at this point in time. For our students, they don't have classmates, they don't see you physically, like they can see you virtually, but they cannot be with you physically. So this is also one thing that we have to consider, as well as the parents. We don't have this parent teacher conferences that, we can really relate and establish rapport to them. So let's talk about social emotional learning and how this theory can help us pull off these orientations that we are about to give, or some of you might have given already, pero pwede pa din po natin siyang ihabol as we go along. All right, so this is a presentation of um, social emotional learning theory. By the way, this is not my slide, I just borrowed it from was WASO schools. No, so social emotional learning is self management. This is about self management, self awareness. This is about social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. Why do we need to do this? This is both. This is actually not both. This is for all of us, for the teachers, for the parents, for the students. All of us should have all these qualities, or we should improve this. And as teachers, we can start it with ourselves, and eventually we can navigate. We can be an example to our parents. For example, self-management is very important nowadays, because we teachers ourselves, we know for a fact that we just work at home. So if you don't really manage everything, you don't manage your emotions, you don't manage your behavior, then your goals will going to be affected, and so with the parents, and so with the students. So self-management for everybody at this point in time is very, very important. Next, self-awareness, recognizing one's emotions and values, as well as the strength and the challenges. So we, as teachers, as parents, and the students also, should be self-aware. What can I really do? What is my present level of performance? What is my strength? What is my weakness? What are the things that I really need to give more time? So it's very important that we are aware of what is happening, or what we can do. For example, for us teachers, if you are not that techie, if you are not into technology and you just started this year, then just be aware, and you can cite yourself that I'm not very good at this, so maybe I need extra time so that I will be able to do this. So that's a self-awareness. For example, for some students, if they also know what are their strengths and weaknesses, then the parents and the students can also work on the time management, so that the children can exert more time, or could spend more time in the things that the students needs improvement. And then when it comes to social awareness, I think everybody um, should we should also promote social awareness, that all of us, I know that we teachers, we also have our own fair share of disappointments, frustrations. We even have our own set of problems, but please showing understanding and empathy to others, most especially to our parents, is very important at this time, because at least we teachers, we can always adapt. But the parents, this is new to them, they are not teachers, and of course they also have a lot of um, things that are going on, being a parent, and this time you are a parent, at the same time you have also to be the teacher. So let's give some empathy to the parents, like understanding where they are coming from. And I think, when we speak of empathy, this pertains to us putting our shoe in the shoe of others, and most of us teachers, I think, can actually relate to what the other teachers or other parents are experiencing, because we also are parents, we also have children who are doing online classes. So it's the same feeling, right? So when you empathize, when you have social awareness that this is really happening, what we can do is we can um we can actually ask ourselves, like, if how do I want the teacher of my kid um, communicate with me, or how do I want the school uh, facilitate this new kind of learning. So but let's be aware of what is happening in the society. And on the other side, the purple one is responsible decision making, which is making ethical, constructive choices about personal and social behavior. And this time, everything, even though we have classes and all, the decision making is really on us, the parents decision making, the students decision making, us also decision making on our part. So we have to make it ethical, we have to make constructive choices. Although we're tired, we still have we need to be responsible in our personal and social behavior. uh, I've spoken to some teachers who are very saddening, and there are some teachers who are really not yet in the zone of doing this. It's like they haven't accepted it yet, that this is the new reality. I think, mga kabibal, it's very important for us. The first thing that we need to do so that we can motivate and inspire the parents to um, work with us is to embrace the fact that this is really what we need to do at the at this point in time, that we really don't have a choice. But let us not do this because we don't have a choice, but because this is our responsibility. So we need to act. We have to decide something on our personal and social behavior, because whatever is our personal and social behavior, if we look at this very negatively, then it will also emit that kind of idea to the parents. Then how can they work with us harmoniously? And next is relationship skills, forming positive relationship, working in teams, dealing effectively with conflict. I think the social emotional learning theory really um, presents to us the different side of this story, aside from preparing all the cognitive contents of this upcoming school year. So I think one essential aspect of this new normal is relationship skills. We really need to form positive relationship skills, especially to the parents. For example, before you don't really talk much to the parents. Now is the time that you really establish a rapport with them. This is the time, because if you form positive relationship, then you're gonna get the support also. So this time we have to um, be in the in the mindset that we are going to work in teams, because the children are at home. So whatever we're gonna give to them, uh, the parents will be able to see it. And there's the only help that we can get is from the family and the parents. So uh, by building relationship with them, even conflicts can be addressed and dealt with effectivity. All right. So this is another one. This is from ResearchGate. So it's basically like this. If we were able to manage our emotions, our personal and social behavior, if we have positive relationship to you know, I think if we are ready emotionally to what is the challenge in front of us now, I think this will work uh, easier than what we think. Uh, so we need to have clear expressions of our feelings, of our beliefs and thoughts, yeah, by using messages, to giving messages to them. This is one. So when it comes to responsible decision making, problem solving, taking responsibility and collaboration. So at this point in time, it's not our sole discretion, or this is not our sole decision making. So when it comes to the learning of the children, all of the children, of I'm referring to the parents, we need to involve them. We need uh, we have to take responsibility, both parents and you, and collaborate. And then uh, by doing that, when we also form positive relationship, then we have group skills. And this answers also to the social concerns that we have, because one thing that I am thinking is, of course, the students, the ones who are really affected by, by this pandemic and by this situation, I guess, are the students. So I think as parents and teachers, we are the adults here, and we have the responsibility to make relationship so that these children won't feel that their social and emotional areas of development are not being considered. Okay, and how do we do social awareness? By active listening. To whom? To each other. We need to, you know, when you have positive relationship with the parents, then you can actively listen to each other. They can listen to you, you can listen to them. So basically, this is um, the learning theory that I wanted to share with you before going to the practical um, implementation, or the practical tips that we got from researches, or from interviewing parents and teachers at the same time. So what I want to impart with you with this, with the presentation of this social and emotional learning, that we have to, even though we're taking two steps forward when it comes to the cognitive aspect of our lessons, we also need to think that there are other areas of development that we also need to consider when it comes to the children, and that is social and emotional learning. I believe that if the parents are ready, if we are ready, then we can make the students ready also, and they can perform properly during this time. All right. So this is also another presentation. So it doesn't mean that if you are considering social emotional learning theory, there's no cognition. It goes hand in hand. It's always integrated. Social, emotional, cognitive, language, communication, all of these are interconnected. But with this learning theory, because it's a learning theory, that's why cognitive is also there. But it's just that we we will do a little different in terms of approach. Like, we will consider the social and emotional, then cognitive can also be improved. For example, you see black lines here. The ones, the letters or the words are in green, actually pertains to social. So if we will also consider the social skills, or the social um, area of of the relationship, or of this learning, then we can establish respect. I think establishing respect for all, both parents and students at the same time, parents respect to the teacher, and parents students respect to the teacher, is very important in this time, at this time. And then there's also, when we talk of social, it also pertains to teamwork. And if we work as a team, then the task would be easier. Then when it comes to emotional, you will see coping and empathy, because everybody's coping at this point in time. So we always have to remember that it's not only you who's coping. uh, all of us are coping, right? The environment, um, especially this time that we have social distancing. So coping and empathy should always be part of it, that everybody's coping. You are coping, parents are coping, and most especially the students are going to cope. But of course, there's no way to go. We always have to cope. But how are we going to do this? We should also, even though we have our own set of challenges, we always have to do empathy. And then, of course, this also works cognitively. So if we practice all of this, then the executive function is going to uh, be there. So when we speak of executive function, this pertains to organization skills. I think organization skills at this time is vital for the children and parents. And then focus um, can be achieved, and of course problem solving. So I'm just presenting to you that um, even though it's overwhelming in terms of the condition and the situation in this pandemic, I believe that we can look into other theories of learning that can help us. Let us not just focus on the cognitive aspect. Sabi po, di ba, if buo yung loob mo, you can do anything. So I think it's really for us to embrace and believe that the parents can be motivated and the parents can be part of it. But of course, we always have to establish respect to them. We have to understand that they are also under coping mechanisms. We also have to empathize on what is happening to them. At this time, ang talaga pong weight ay nasa ating mga kaguruan, tayong mga guro. Kasi um, tayo yung naatasan para asiksuhin yung magulang, asiksuhin yung bata. At the same time, paano din naman tayo? So, don't forget also to, attend to your social emotional needs din po. All right. So, question to our teachers out there at this point in time, how does this new reality in education made your relationship with your students, parents, and families has become? Have you been more connected? So, I believe I think most of the answers, so I don't know kung hindi ko po kasi makikita yung YouTube page as of the moment, but you can type your answers there, like, so how's your relationship with your students, parents, and families nowadays at this point in time? I mean, like today, have you been more connected to them? I'm really hoping that when I read it later, when I check it out, I hope that it has become better, and you have deeper relationship with the parents, because I think at this time we need to talk to them more. Okay, so why did I ask this question? Because, according to a research made by Be a Learning Hero Organization based in New York, there are different feelings right now that the parents are actually experiencing. Um, Although this is a Western research, because we don't have our research, but all of us are human beings. So somehow our parents are also experiencing all of this, like hopeful. Some of them are hopeful because we need to have hope all the time, and some of them are grateful, optimistic, safe. Some of them are frustrated. Some of them are calm, overwhelmed. But according to this research, almost all of the parents halos equal ay anxious and worried. I think that is the term that most of the parents are feeling now. whether their kid is enrolled in the DepEd schools or in the private schools. I think everybody's anxious. Everybody's asking questions, like what is going to happen. So by starting to empathize on these feelings, we can help them out. So why did I present this? I just wanted to remind us that the parents have different kinds of feelings, and um, these are some of them as of the moment. Okay, so I will just present to you. These are some of the text messages that I have asked parents and teachers as their concerns for this coming school year. So uh, this came from parents. This came from teachers. So everybody has their concern. Everybody has questions to ask. So in summary, just to give you uh, um, on a clearer picture of where the parents are coming from, because if we could understand them, then they will be more motivated. They will be their emotions will be heightened, and they can really be involved in whatever we're gonna do. So this is just a summary of what the parents are concerning about. Lack of confidence to pull off teaching. They are scared. They don't know how to teach. And then of course there's this issue of flexibility of schedule for working parents, which is actually addressed now because we have the synchronous and the asynchronous learning. Actually, the asynchronous learning is the answer and the respect for families who have different schedules. And then they are also, of course, apprehensive of the workload because they think that all the teaching load will be given to them. They also, in summary of all the surveys that we did, they also wanted clear directions from schools, uh, that the schools should really guide them. They wanted to do it, but of course, how to do it is the question. And then fear that they don't know how to teach, coach us they said that they wanted to coach us for improved results, limitations of our, they also have some concerns like limitations of their involvement, clear expectation from parents, assurance of support, being there and always, webinars and workshops. So these are the summary of parents' concerns. And then these are the teacher concerns. So that the parents who are listening out there, you should also know, dear parents, that our teachers also have their concerns. We teachers also have our concerns. And that is the availability of parents, which is again, was answered already by asynchronous learning, number of students in the house. This was answered also that they don't really need to go like 6 hours in attending classes. How about patience of the parents, trust issues of the parents. So dear parents, please trust the teachers. But don't worry, teachers who are also out there. According to researches, yung trust naman daw po ng mga magulang sa atin ay halos 90%. And whatever we give them, like materials, learning materials, 90% of them, they will actually use it. So when it comes to trust issues, I think at this point in time, they also trust what we give to them. So lack of mindset, because we teachers sometimes also, if we are not ready, we also think that the parents are not ready, or the parents doesn't really have this mindset of what is going to happen. So we also need to address that. And then mastery of lessons, especially this is a concern for teachers in the DepEd schools. How about parents who are not very knowledgeable, or like they haven't finished school? So that is also a problem. But again, lesson videos now are being uploaded and being prepared. Confidence, communication concern, human touch, too much involvement of the parents. Well, again, to avoid too much involvement of the parents, we need to put a delineation on that, and we have to do structured learning, or we need to give um, guidelines to parents so that they will understand up to what part they're going to be involved. Ability to assist in self-paced, anxieties, that they are not teachers, and disengagements. So uh, communication and relationship with parents and students. So this is actually very important for us. So for us to motivate, for us to arouse the parents' involvement, especially this time of orientation, we have to activate the parents. Parents are activated. So when we speak of parent activation, kung noon po ang mga magulang ay supporting actors and actresses before, because talagang ang best actress ay ang teacher dahil siya talaga yung bida. At this point in time, we have to give the parents a front row of their kids' education, which means that despite of the challenges, they need to know, they need to be activated. They have to, kumbaga, bigyan po natin sila ng front row seat na makikita talaga nila kung ano yung nangyayari. So that's one. Parents are activated. Kumbaga, communication and relationship with parents. So the first thing that we have to do is activate the parents. Next, we need to also give an accurate picture to the parents, because according to researches, the parents normally have biases, like they always think that their kid is so good. So if that's the thinking, then we will not start at the right foot, because they will think, oh, he knows this already, or they will not facilitate learning anymore. So what we can do is establish an accurate picture of what the child can do academically. So by presenting to them diagnostic tests or checklists, so that they can understand that this is where their kid is coming from. And then we also have to work on relationship redefinement. Uh, if before our relationship is not that strong, and we don't really have group skills in terms of dealing with our parents, I think this is the best time to redefine our relationship with parents. Okay, so when parents are activated and we redefine our relationship with the parents, then the parents understand better of their child's expected learning. Kasi nga, you gave them a clear picture or an accurate picture of what the child can do at this point in time. No, in special education, we call this a present level of performance, or present level of educational performance. So I think when parents are activated, they understand better their children's expected learning. They know where to start. Next, more involvement about their children's or child's everyday activities, because they are activated. They know what is next. They know what to do. They know the schedule for the whole week. So they can facilitate learning at home, and then seek better understanding of their child's academic performance, and they can become partner parent, and of course develop relationship with the teachers. Okay, so now let's go to the practical tips on how are we going to motivate the parents, especially in the time of orientation and during the school year. So teachers should redefine the relationship with the parents. So we should acknowledge that it would also be it would be easier for us parents, or it would be easier if the parent will help us, especially this time of pandemic. So they are actually the true experts of their children. So you have to redefine, and you have to think that you are a team now, that you should have responsible decision making. You should collaborate, so that the students can learn what they are supposed to learn for the school year, even we are practicing social distancing, even though we have health issues. Next, since the parents are also new to this, we have to think of that the parents are new to this. So proper, clear orientation should be given to them. goal setting should be presented. I think when we want to activate the parents, when we want to give them the accurate picture of um, what to do, goal setting also is important. Of course, first is a clear orientation. So, how can we do this? One suggestion is we can give them a working plan. So, what is a working plan? It is similar to a syllabus. Uh, you remember all? Do you remember mga ka-teach na before when we start our courses, or when we start our subjects in college, they give us a course syllabus because during my time you have like 2 semesters or 3 trimesters, but every time you start a course or as you start a subject, they have to give you a course syllabus wherein you already know what are the things that are going to be discussed, what are the topics to be discussed, what are the projects that has to be submitted, uh, how are they going to be graded, or how are we going to be graded. You remember that sometimes 2 pieces of paper nakalagay na po doon, this is the course outline, so this is what's going to happen, and then your schedule. At the same time, yung list of topics, tapos nandun na din po yung ano po yung requirements for each topic, and then what are the criteria for grading. So if we could really present this to the parents, then they can have, they can have setting of expectations. They know na, this is what we're gonna do pala. So they can have more time. Okay, they can schedule their time because they know that they have goals to achieve, or they have goals to finish by the end of the school year. So, pero po, and we can do this in a simpler form, or more simple way, no? Infographic, pwede pong mga one page, ganyan na may mga drawings for the timeline. For example, para pong pag nagtuturo tayo ng mathematics, like we do timelines, but using graphic organizers. So an infographic timelines is would be very helpful for the parents, so that they could just post it in the refrigerator, and at least they can see, oh, it's time for, oh, it's going to be time for assessment, it's going to be time for project submission, so on and so forth. We can also give them task list so that they can know how much more work they have to do. So I think these are very, very good practical applications of how can the parents understand from orientation itself. Um, they know already what are their deliverables. So when we speak of orientation, I think it's very important that the parents knows what they are signing up for. So give a clear orientation to them. How are you going to do it? So which means that before you start, also on the part of the schools and the teachers, before we start, we already planned this. We already know also what is going to happen for the whole year. Okay, that's number two. Number three, to boost confidence, because that's also one thing that the parents are actually concerned about, boosting their confidence because they are not teachers. So to boost confidence and remove anxiety, lead them, because now you have redefined your relationship with them, so you can actually have a very good partnership with them, so you can lead them, you can guide them, be there in every step of the way. And how are we going to do that? So this is one thing which is very, very simple, but I think very effective. First is refrain from using teacher jargons. So mga ka-Vibal, ka-teach, wag na lang po tayong gumamit ng mga terms na tayong mga kaguruan lamang ang nakakaintindi. Let us use layman terms for our parents so that they will not be overwhelmed. Next, make it simple. when you want to make your course outline or infographics or um um like info sheets, when you want to make projects and all, make it simple that even the students themselves can understand and follow. This will lessen also the time that the parents will always think about what their children can do. So what do we mean, what do we mean by this, and how are we going to do this? Please make your instructions, your info sheets, your ano bang tawag dyan? Guide, lesson guide, uh, developmentally appropriate as possible. So which means that please know what your children or what your students can do. So give instructions in accordance to their ages, okay, or according to their development. And then provide, of course, this one you know very well, provide online videos for them to follow, because modeling is also very important if we want to facilitate um, confidence to them. They know that, even though they cannot get it for the first time, they are not alarmed or concerned, because they know that they can always watch the videos over and over again, and this can actually promote review also. So this is also a good thing, I guess. I mean, this is a silver lining on the part of education. And use social media and other online platforms to send guidance for lessons, assignments, assessments, and home projects. Okay, number 4, use blended strategies for your online classes. So this one you know already. So you also have to know that not everybody can go for synchronous learning. So this is to give flexibility to the time of the parents, give options, because number one thing that we need to do so that we can establish motivation to them is to respect their time. Okay. So provide online workshops also, uh, webinars for parents for confidence in handling school tasks. I think for them to be motivated, they need to have a lot of confidence. So confidence is the key. And then last but not the least, regularly communicate with them. So we cannot do home visit, we cannot do face-to-face classes. So according to researches, parents appreciate it so much when we update when we update them with the progress of their children, their academic status through phone calls, chat, and text messages. Uh, I've uh, I've read one article that says parents appreciate text messages, because even though that they cannot attend to the text messages right away, especially if they are working, at least when they have time, they can always read it, and then they can always reply back to you. So phone call, chats, text messages are highly appreciated by the parents. And don't forget that technology is on our side. Right. So this is the last stretch of my webinar for today. So if we have to motivate, if motivating the parents is vital, as well, it is also being followed by motivating our students. And how are we going to motivate our students? Of course, through the help of the parents. First is focus on their key skills. So this can be very overwhelming to a lot of students, to all of us. So if it's overwhelming, you think that there are a lot of things that the child should be learning, then step back, take a deep breath, and think of first things first. Focus on their key skills. Their foundational skills first are very important, such as reading, mathematics, and writing. So how do we do this? We have to know again their readiness to the lessons that are going to be presented to them, no matter what grade level they are. So it's more like having a starting point, especially at this time that this is the first time that we're going to do online learning. So remember to motivate our students, focus first on the skills that they really need. I think that is the reason why also the Department of Education released the MELTs, or the most important, most essential learning competencies, because we will go for the basics first. We will go for the foundational skills first. So don't forget that when we deal with our students. Yun muna. First things first. Second one, establish a study routine, habits, and eliminate distraction. So please tell the parents to establish a routine, and if the parents doesn't know how to make one, then we teachers can formulate one. Like, how many hours do we really ask the students to sit down and watch the videos? For some it's 2 hours, for some it's 2.5. So we have to establish a study routine or habits, and of course we have to eliminate the distractions to them. So ano paano bang gagawin natin doon? Like, create balanced schedule. um, you don't want to have too long screen time for the kids. So we always remember that there are also areas of development. Do not forget your SEL or your social emotional learning, that there are other things also, or other developmental areas that need to be addressed also with the children. So you also eliminate distraction. For example, if they have tablets, if they have uh, um, computers, you have to, I don't know, you disable first, like games or applications that are not um, going to be used for classes. So there's always time for everything. Okay, next is develop deeper relationship with students. If you are to make positive relationship with the parents and so with their students, so their emotional well-being is also very important to the students. So you can ask them every now and then, how are they doing? Uh, Always assure them that if they need help and if they don't understand something, they can always message you. So if parents and teachers can be anxious about this new reality, and so are the learners. Yung anxiety, yung stress na mararamdaman ng mga estudyante natin, mararamdaman pa lang po nila yan ngayong pagpasukan. So we also need to establish again relationship, because if they know that they have resilient others like the teacher and the parents, then mas magiging kalmado po yung ating mga bata. Okay, then implement structured activities for the learners so that the students will not be chaotic, the students will not be uh, confused of what you want them to do. Um, Everything has to be structured po. Actually, structured learning, structured activities always work in our field, in the special education field. But I think this works for everybody. So again, I'm asking you to give easy to follow steps when you want to give them lessons or things that they have to submit, like projects and all. Please make it a structured activities. Like, you can do like step 1, step 2, step 3, so that when even without the parents, they can also do it. Halimbawa, balikan natin, no? So ibalikan po natin yung example na ginawa ni, o yung prinsipyo ni Maria Montessori, na kaya yung mga bata nila, the teachers are facilitators because their materials are actually self-correcting. So pwede po nating i-adapt ng konti yun, like paano ba 'to na hindi siya makaka-continue kung mali yung ginawa niya. So make easy to follow steps without the guidance of their parents. Because I've watched testimonials of some parents, no, through online streaming, na may mga magaganda daw talagang ginagawa yung mga teachers, na kung saan kahit hindi tinutulungan ng magulang ay naiintindihan nila yung pinapagawa ng teacher. So again, babalik po tayo dun sa everything that you give to the students should be developmentally appropriate. And last but not the least, promote and enjoy family time. So this is to motivate the students also na may buhay pa rin. You know, with all the news ngayon, sabi nga, medyo iwasan ng konti yung sobrang panonood ng balita. No? Yung balita naman natin, pare-pareho naman eh. yung balita mamayang gabi, yun din yung balita bukas ng umaga, no? So, wag na po tayo masyadong mag-alala kung hindi gawin natin yung part natin at this time of pandemic. And always remember that these kids, these learners, no matter what age they are, they don't go to school at the moment. So they might be missing you, teachers. They are missing their classmates. So the parents can be their teacher and their classmate as of the moment. So palitan po natin yung, encourage po natin yung ating mga magulang na palitan yung nawawalang time with the teachers and classmates, na sila po muna yung magkaroon ng enjoyable family time at the same time nagpo-promote po ng learning. So that ends my webinar. I don't know if you have some questions, but to sum it all up, to wrap it up, mga kabibal, no, I think that it always starts with us also teachers embracing and accepting the challenges of the new reality. And then when we have a clear picture of what we want to do, if our schools have clear picture of what we want to do, then we can we can always transfer or pass it on to our parents and to our students. So don't forget po, no, akin lang, don't forget, ang iiwan ko po sa inyo ngayon is I really hope that we consider, as you know, as these challenges, let us consider incorporating social and emotional learning as we go along this new academic school year. So if you want to dig into details about this, you can read more about emotional and social learning so that you can read more scholarly journals about this, researches that supports this. This can really help us. So sabi nga, we can actually use all the help that we can get now. So since hindi pa talaga nagsisimula ng formally yung ating school year, we can also add up, wala naman pong problema to get best practices from different theories. So I wish everybody po happy, fruitful school year. Although na-move, at least yung napag-move niya, we still have time to prepare for the upcoming school year. I know that God is with us, hindi niya tayo pababayaan in this time of pandemic. And I wish everyone to be safe. Sabi ko nga, stay safe, stay healthy, and let us all stay sane. Thank you so much po mga Kavibal, and I hope to see you again in the next webinar series. So once again, I'm Teacher Margo. So if you have questions, you can, I don't know if you have typed it in the comment box. So mga Kavibal, Miss
Thank you
Jillian,
very
do you have
much,
a question?
Teacher Margot. Now
Yeah.
we will proceed to the question and answer portion. Our first question is from Roberta Pateros. Should we answer parents' concern or queries sent to us late at night or beyond working hours?
Okay. So thank you for the question. Sa akin po, kaya nga po we have to make a structure. If you make a guidelines out of it during your orientation, you can put it that questions are parang your lines are open at this time only. Kumbaga po, hindi niyo po kailangang sagutin, lalo na meron rin tayong mga sariling buhay. But you just make sure that you will answer it first thing in the morning when your office is open or when you are already on duty, dun yun na lang po sagutin. Pero ma'am, para hindi rin lang po kayo masabihan na si teacher naman, di ako pinapansin, during your orientation time, you can say that my lines are open until 6 p.m. So messages after that will not be entertained because you also have your families to attend to. So pwede naman po yun. Like kami po, no, in our center, we don't especially on weekends, we don't really answer queries. We don't as much as possible po. Kasi yun nga, we want to respect time. And I think it's vice versa. to the parents also, they don't want you sending them messages late at night. So it's the same thing po. So it's just a matter of how are you going to explain it to them po during your orientation. Okay, teacher.
Thank you so much. Next question is from Al Cameron Avila. How will we deal with parents who are in denial of the misbehavior of their children when they are at school, especially if their children behave differently when they are at home?
Um, how are you? Can you repeat that, please?
How will we deal with parents who are in denial of the misbehavior of their children when they are at school, especially if their children behave differently when they are at home?
Okay, so you mean whoever is Miss Avila, you mean like they are, like they are okay at home and they are not in school. So at this time, um they will be the one seeing it. Kumbaga, if, when it comes to denial, if they are in school, sa akin po, sa aking experience, pag dinideny sa amin na hindi ganon, kailangang mag-reflect doon sa kanyang progress report o sa kanyang grades, no? Kasi kung talagang may misbehavior siya, di dapat hindi po niya matatapos yung inyong mga task, hindi siya hindi niya mapa-perform yung mga performance based task natin. So it will, of course, it should be affecting yung kanyang grades, no? Pero sa panahon ng pandemic, since hindi mo naman makikita yung ganung behavior at kung sinasabi ng parent na sa bahay okay naman siya, as long as nakakapagpasa sila nung inyong mga pinagagawa, sa ngayon po, doon muna tayo. Pero halimbawa, di ba po, nagsisynchronous learning kayo at talagang during your sessions, nagmi-misbehave, i-journal nyo lang po. I-journal nyo, tapos i-report nyo agad sa parents para ma-observe din nila. Tapos, at the same time, most probably, kapag ganun kasi na may mga misbehaving, pwede rin po nating tingnan and let us work with the parents. Tingnan natin, baka may deficit kasi ng skill. Baka kaya siya nagaganon kasi may bagay na nahihirapan siya. Baka pwede nating hanapin yung root cause nun para mawala yung mga misbehaving. Pero yun nga po, ang akin kasi, we can only do so much. So what we can do is document it, whatever is the misbehaving, and how is it affecting, how is it affecting the educational performance of the child. And we just have to report it to the parents and ask them to kindly observe also. So, pero ngayon na yung mga parents talaga yung mas tututok sa kanila po, I think this time they will discover it. Kasi yung sinasabi niyo po, last school year yan eh. Pero ngayon na nandun sila sa bahay, sila yung magtuturo, somehow madidiscover po nila yan. Next po.
Thank you for that, Teacher Margot. And our last question is from Felix Ray M. Igual. There are parents who enroll their children in the school year besides the fact that they have negative outlook on the different delivery modes of teaching introduced to them. What shall we do?
Yun nga po, no, there are parents who haven't embraced it yet and they are still apprehensive of what we are going to do. So I think, Teacher Felix, for us, we just do our thing. We just do what we are asked to do. So if we are to send our lesson videos, still po, sila yung mga tao na mas kailangan nating bigyan ng clearer picture para mawala yung negativity. So alam ko po na it's easier said than done, pero yun nga po, we structure everything. We present to them in a way na sila mismo po maiintindihan nila, parang mag-work naman to. I know na talagang maraming apprehensive parents, pero po tayo, let us structure it, let us explain to them, even if we have to talk to them separately, para malaman po natin, we can actually have a dialogue with them and ask them, ano po ba talaga yung pinag-aalala ninyo? Kung ano po yung sasabihin nila sa inyo, yun po yung pwede nating i-address. Pero po, bigyan po natin sila ng konkretong solusyon doon. For example, sabi nila, kasi di kami naniniwala sa online. pwede naman po natin sabihin, ma'am, ganito naman po, I will upload the videos. You can actually watch it over and over again, and then you can actually watch it any time of the day kung wala tayong internet. Yung mga ganun po ba? I have a colleague na nung una, ganyan, hirap na hirap talaga siyang magpaliwanag sa mga parents. Tsinaga lang po, konting tiyaga lang. Pero yun nga, sa pagtsatsaga, we have to present them documents that will support na yung ginagawa natin will work. Sa totoo naman po, mga ka-teach, mga ka-Vibal, walang constant sa mundo kundi change. Pero tuwing may change po, may resistance. So, I'm appealing to everybody na sana po, in spite of this, we should mindset ourselves that there will always be resistance on the part of the parents. So, our goal, ang una talaga po nating goal is to make them partner parents. Pero paano natin yun magagawa? They have to have a clear idea of what is going to happen, na this is doable. Kumbaga, yun lang naman po siguro yung pinanggagalingan ng mga parents. Although po, I cannot speak for all. May mga parents talaga na will always, present negativity. But again, we just do our part. Because in this kind of learning modality, we need them. Makikita rin naman po nila yun na yung mga parents na involved, yung mga parents na nagsusupport, iba sila kumpara doon sa mga parents na nine-neglect yung responsibility nila. So, teacher, I know this is very hard for all of us, but I think we can start by just doing our share. Do what we are asked to do. And if we can do some extra mile, then, it's up to you po. So, good luck po with the coming school year. Miss Jillian.
There we have it. That's all the questions we have for now. Any last reminders to our viewers for today, ma'am?
Okay. So, ano lang po, sabi ko nga, inhale, exhale lang po kayo. Inhale, exhale lang po kayo sa upcoming school year. Sa totoo lang po, we've come a long way na rin naman. We were able to make them understand what is blended learning, and according to researches, excited din naman yung mga parents. So, let us look always at the bright side of life, that at saka tandaan niyo po mga ka-teach, ang mga parents, they always want the best for their children. So the parents will always do what they think is best for their children. So wag natin silang wag kumbaga, we know that they are also the real experts of their children. So let us motivate them, and if they are motivated, they will be more involved. Yun po. Maraming salamat po, mga ka-Vibal. Maraming salamat po ulit sa Vibal for having me. Thank you for this opportunity again. So, you can follow me at my page at Teacher Margo po. Salamat!
There we have it. On behalf of Vibal Group Incorporated, I would like to thank our speaker for today for this very insightful and eye-opening learning session. It is an honor to have you with us today, ma'am. And to all our Vibal viewers, all thanks to you for your continuous patronage to our daily learning session. Muli, maraming salamat at magandang araw sa ating lahat.
Maraming salamat po!